TIE is one of the largest global nonprofit organizations fostering entrepreneurship. It was founded way back in 1992 and by a bunch of successful entrepreneurs. And today has 64 chapters across 18 countries with a network of about 20,000 entrepreneurs, investors, and mentors. I would like to introduce my partner in crime and the moderator for this event, Monika Panpaliya. I've known Monika for some time, and I can assure you, I couldn't have thought of a better moderator for this event.
Thank you so much, Malay, and thank you to TIE Seattle for hosting today's CIO Roundtable event. TIE has always been a powerhouse of ideas, and the big idea that we are going to focus on today is how do we leverage data and AI in the enterprises to make them intelligent and agile. As Malay mentioned, I'm joined by 3 top CIOs that are thought leaders in the industry. Lori Beer from J.P. Morgan Chase, Chris Bedi from ServiceNow, and Wael Kashou from Assurant. The 2 specific things that we will focus on today in our discussion, the first will be, why does it matter for enterprises to invest in the data and AI and for the ecosystem to invest in it? And the second would be real tangible examples of how enterprises are leveraging data and AI to become more intelligent and become more agile. So what's your journey been like?
But the good thing is, from there, becoming the CIO, I actually went into a chief operating officer role and then managing a $10 billion P&L. And I think that's like kind of a testament to the role that technology plays in businesses today. It's critically imperative.
I think, Lori, you mentioned the impact of technology. I just think it's becoming more and more pervasive, which talks to the importance of the role of CIO and data, as we're going to talk about later.
I echo exactly what Chris and Lori said. I tell this to my kids as well. You'll never really know where you're going to end up because of that journey.
Why does data and AI matter?
Well, it's really embedded. I think we're continuing to learn it matters more and more every day. When you think of the breadth of the data we have, I think I'll start there. We bank nearly half of all US households. We serve about 80% of the Fortune 500, and we move $8 trillion a day. So just think about a lot of the data and the insights that's in that information. Then you think about the speed that business is changing, everything's digitizing. When things digitize, things move quickly, they can disrupt. And having, even thinking about the 250,000 employees we have, and how do we give them information and insights to do their job? I mean, cybersecurity is front and center. And so when you think about the amount of data we use, just understanding the insights, staying ahead of the cyber threats, it's significant in the risk management and the protection, not only from a cybersecurity perspective, but also how we think about managing fraud and the movement of that money.
We can do a lot with data, and Lori touched on cyber in terms of how important that is. Maybe a different angle that is for us, we established a data ethics committee. Just because we can do this with data doesn't mean we should do it, especially with our customers' data. And that's been a really important, call it committee, I hate to use the word committee, but that's a team, that's a bit important team for us to guide us along our data journey.
Data, we have a lot of data. As you mentioned up front, we have over 300 million consumers that we service. We serve 75% of the insurance and industry. So we actually have mortgages, 75%. We're the insurance arm of the banks, whether it's Chase, whether it is Wells Fargo. So we have a lot of data, but the data is owned by those partners that we work with. So when we mine our data, the most important thing is how can we serve our consumers and our clients better. That is what's expected of us, and that's one of the first things we think about. It's the end consumer, because today, if you do not do that, that's what consumers are expecting of you. Don't just do it to just create products. It's how can you serve them better? Can you process their claim quicker? can you really make their life better? Because once you make their life better, somehow good things happen to you.
We would love to hear from you what use cases you're seeing as well in the AI ML space.
You know what I think is interesting now is you're pretty much seeing use cases across every dimension of your business. And I think it was mentioned earlier, but I think that everybody going to remote work really emphasized where you had inefficiencies in processes or technology capabilities. So certainly I mentioned a few of these earlier, but just to summarize, anything in the risk space or compliance space, that's obviously huge for us too. It's both huge from getting that accuracy right, so we take less false positives out of the mix, but it's also making sure that we're obviously catching any fraud scenarios that may be happening, whether you're talking about a credit card transaction or you're talking about $1 billion payment. Because we span the continuum when you think about consumer payments versus wholesale payments. So that's critical. And giving you these examples, the business ones are clear around managing risk, wholesale credit, bringing all the data we have across the firm around our customers so we can make credit decisions in a more responsive and real-time way. Of course, we're doing all of those too, but you can actually see it's really weaving into everything that we do, where AI and machine learning are really embedded into many of the processes and services and products that we deliver in the future.
I agree with the embedded in everything. And one of the things that we had to do internally is really simplify it for folks who weren't that familiar with machine learning, and just say, if anything has a rating, ranking, or a forecast, it's a candidate for machine learning. You don't have to be an expert in machine learning, but I wanted to start with recognizing the opportunity, because as was mentioned, the opportunities are everywhere. And just to get to tangible use cases, AI ops is an area that's built into our platform as an example. How do you start to predict and prevent things before they happen?
I am really a firm believer of agile, the agile framework. It is definitely a different way of looking of how you do business and how you work. And there is a lot of cultural barriers to implementing it. But once you have it done right, it really makes a big difference. And it really provides better products at the end of the day. So agility has been good for us. A lot of people thought it doesn't require planning. I would say it requires twice as much planning at the minimum. Twice, but it does give you the ability to pivot. Just you do not need to pivot every week. What you need to do, you can pivot within. Once you have a program implement, an increment planned, stick with that program and increment. You can always pivot within, but you cannot just, just because it's called agile, just go ahead and change your priorities overnight. So all in all, agile, from my perspective, is really something that I truly saw the results of it. It has a lot of value, and you should cater it to your business. And that's how we see it.
Thank you for that. One piece of career advice for new graduates that are in STEM that are entering the workplace.
Just be intellectually curious all the time and continuously learn.
Lori's ahead of me as usual. I was going to just say learning mindset. I remember telling myself early in career, just be a learning sponge. You don't necessarily have to like every individual you meet with, but everyone has something you can learn from, and just keep in that mindset.
Yeah, from my perspective, I would say solution for the future, but do not ignore the past. Always, a lot of people completely disregard it, and I think you should always know before you solution something for the future, the past very well.
Great. And my last question for each of you, for the startups that are here today, what message would you like to give them on the opportunity to work with your companies?
I think it's critical. We see so much innovation coming out of companies, and we engage with many different companies. So just keep innovating, keep thinking about those new ideas, and we love to think about how we can integrate those into our products and services and partner.
Yeah, I would echo the same. Critical part of the ecosystem. We need your fresh ideas. We don't know everything. And it's easy for, I'll just speak for myself, to get insular on ourselves. But please don't forget about things like security, scale, performance.
Yep, I mean, I echo the same thing. We really love you guys. There's a lot of things that we are getting from you. Assurant have ventures division. That's all they do. They attend the fintech, they attend the insurtech, and we get a lot of the things that we have today and the ideas from you. So thank you, keep doing it, and hope to meet with you.